Hello, and welcome to Shane's Microscope. I'm Shane, and this is my microscope. Let's take a peek.
I keep finding new things every time I look in that sample from the river tributary, so let's see what we find in there this time. Well, immediately we've got a nematode. Those are the roundworms. I don't know how in the world that is an efficient mode of movement, but clearly it works for them. They're a pretty successful body plan. They do seem to calm down a bit once they can find some sediment to burrow into. And on this one, I could just see the head end. You can see the mouth parts there. Nope, no more looking at that for us. I saw another nematode over in this clump of filamentous material. And with just the right focus, we can see the mouth and throat on this one too. Oh, there's a cool diatom. A lot of diatoms in here. Now nearby I saw this sort of egg-shaped thing moving around, and when I zoomed in, we can see that it's a flagellate, and it has a really interesting shape. That flagella goes right into kind of a basket covered in little hooks, or so it looks to me in any case. And it was so distinctive that I was able to identify this one actually to the species level. This is Urceolus cyclostomus. Urceolus is a Latin word meaning a little pitcher or vase, and cyclostomus comes from the Greek kerkos for circle or ring, and stoma for mouth. There is another very similar looking species, but it has a much rougher pellicle, the outer skin. Wow, that is just super cool. Nearby I saw another little flagellate hunting around. As these are colorless, we can tell that they're heterotrophic. They eat other things. And this little duber is of the genus Petalomonas. I didn't see a concise etymology on that one, but just looking at the pieces, I'm thinking that's from the Greek petalos, broad or flat, same as in like a flower petal, and monos for alone or single. And while I was exploring in Darkfield, I saw this interesting looking thing. We've actually seen similar things before. This is one of those amoebas that lives inside of a shell. It's of the genus Arcella. It has the same Latin root as arc, meaning casket. And we can see that interesting burbling in there as it slowly creeps along. These are neat to look at. Saw a nice diatom frustule and some live diatoms. And when I zoomed out, I noticed a ciliate moving around. We've seen this before. This is of the genus Lithonotus. There's a really neat looking diatom nearby. I kind of like the ones with that shape. I don't know why, I guess the ends just seem kind of unnecessary, and sometimes that's nice. Anyway, back to the Lithonotus. It is quite stretchy. Oblique illumination really highlights some of the organelles in there. And I remembered that it looked really neat last time under Darkfield, and it didn't disappoint this time either. Well, while I was looking around, I saw this little ciliate. Switching back to bright field so we can get better resolution on it, we can see that this is of a genus that I'm not quite sure how to pronounce because I couldn't find a good etymology, and the etymology gives you hints as to what the actual words are, but it looks like synetokylum, which could be the Greek kinetikos for putting in motion and kylos for lip, but I'm pretty uncertain about this one. And hey, here's another one of those amoebas of the genus Arcella. Look at that neat shell. Nearby, there was a huge clump with some nice looking diatoms in it. Another one of those amoebas, and this very strangely colored collection of cells. I can only figure that's gotta be some kind of cyanobacteria, the blue-green algae. At first I had wondered if it was artificial or something. It's definitely got chloroplasts in it, but that really looks neat. And here, this looks like the remains or the shed of some kind of arthropod. Arthropoda comes from Greek words meaning jointed foot, and it's a phylum of animals that contains things like insects and arachnids and crustaceans. Then I switched over to dark field. I think this highlights it a lot better. Then we can see a good contrast versus the backdrop. I don't know what this came off of, but it looks interesting. And to send us off here at the end is our recurring friend, the Loxophyllum meleagris, which we've seen plenty of in this sample. Well, every single time I look at this sample, I see things I've never seen before. So I'm glad we had another look in there.
Alright, well, I think we'll leave it there for the day. Thanks for having a look with me. Until next time, keep on peeking.